Welcome back, YouTube. Sensei Domino here. I finally got one of my orders from eBay in the mail today. It took 3.5 weeks to get here. They came from Germany. I actually ordered 2 different batches of cards of this particular athlete from the same seller, and the first 2 cards arrived in 8 days. So I was sort of predicting that the second batch of cards would arrive in a similar time frame, and I actually left a teaser in a video that I made, I think it was 3 videos ago, sort of anticipating that they would arrive faster than they actually did. So I'm a little bit shocked that it took 3.5 weeks to get here, but it kind of goes to show that you really can't predict the speed of mail these days. So lesson learned. I don't think I'll be trying to do that again, but I am super excited that these have arrived. And to kind of refresh everybody's memory, the teaser that I had in that video was that this video that I'm recording now would be featuring an athlete that was considered the greatest female athlete of the first half of the 20th century, and arguably the greatest female athlete of the entire 20th century. And I actually had one subscriber chime in with a guess, and they did guess correctly. So I want to give a shout out to the Card Closet for correctly predicting that this video would be featuring Mildred Babe Didrikson Zaharias. Now, if you don't know who Babe Didrikson Zaharias is, I will give a pretty lengthy description of the type of athlete that she was. I've got 2 pages front and back of notes that I'm going to be going over as I'm I'll go ahead and show the cards in case you want to skip out on the rest of the video. And then I'll just kind of set them in frame and go over the notes so I can give you a little bit of an idea of how good of an athlete she actually was. So let me go ahead and show the cards. These first 4 cards I'm showing right here, these are from the 1932 Reimsma set from Germany. And this one right here is Babe Didrikson Zaharias at the 1932 Olympics in Los Angeles. And the other 2 are Evelyn Hall and Marjorie Clark. So this is technically considered her rookie card. She has a really famous card from the Sports King set, 1933, but these cards actually predate that, and that card can go for a ridiculous amount of money. I've seen them in the thousands, and I didn't pay even a fraction of that for these, all of them combined. So let me go ahead and show you the cards. There's one. Here's another. That's her right there crossing the finish line. These pictures right here are showing the 80-meter hurdles, which she finished with the gold. There you go, Mildred Didrikson, and then Evelyn Hall finished second. She's the one right here. And you can actually see her. I got another photo of this that I'll be showing next. You can actually see her with her head tilted back. I think she believed that she was actually going to win. And here is another version of that same shot. There's Babe right there crossing the finish line with her shoulder, and there's Evelyn Hall. Looks like she's super excited, and I do believe that she thought that she was going to win the race, and Babe just kind of threw her shoulder out there and ended up stealing it. And as you can see, all of this is written in German. I do not read German, so I have no idea what that says. Probably says Babe Didrikson is the greatest athlete ever. I don't know. Here's another one from that same race earlier on. There's Evelyn Hall and Babe Didrikson. those are the 4 that I have. I do believe she has 6 cards in that set. I only was able to pick up 4 of them, so there's 2 others that I'll be hunting down in the future. This one right here is from the 1936, and I'm probably going to say this wrong, Moulin Franc set. And this is showing her javelin throw from the 32 Olympics, but this is actually from the 1936 set in Berlin. But as far as I know, she didn't even participate in the Berlin Olympics. Yeah, Moulin Franc. So this is, as far as I know, the only photo card of her throwing the javelin. So that's at least from this time frame. So this was kind of cool to pick up. And along with this card, I actually got the sleeve that I guess Series 6 came in. So that's kind of cool to be able to get. So anyway, now that I've shown these cards, I'll just kind of leave them here in frame. There we go. And sort of give you a little bit of a idea of the type of athlete that Babe Didrikson Zaharias was. As I said, she's one of the greatest athletes of all time. She was an All-American basketball player. She won 2 gold medals in the 1932 Olympics in Los Angeles, one for the 80-meter hurdles and the other for the javelin throw. And she also won the silver medal in the high jump. And by doing that, she became the only track and field athlete, male or female, to win an individual Olympic medal in a running, throwing, and jumping event. In 1934, she pitched in 3 different spring training games for a total of 4 innings over those 3 appearances. In her first appearance, she gave up a walk and no hits in 1 inning for the Philadelphia A's against the Brooklyn Dodgers. In her second game, she started for the St. Louis Cardinals versus the Boston Red Sox. And before the game, she learned a little bit about pitching from future Hall of Famers Burley Grimes and Dizzy Dean. And they actually taught her how to pitch a quote-unquote rather fair curveball. She ended up giving up 3 runs over her 1 inning in that appearance. Her final appearance, she pitched 2 scoreless innings for a minor league team called the New Orleans Pelicans against the Cleveland Indians. And in that game, she also had a chance to bat. And she ended up lining out in her only at-bat, from what I understand. She would also spend some time afterwards traveling with the House of David. And you might have heard of the House of David. I believe that they were known for their beards. On top of that, they were notable for having several Major League Baseball players barnstorm with them for periods of time, including Babe Ruth. And Babe Didrikson Zaharias also still holds the record for the furthest baseball ever thrown by a woman. But probably the sport that she's most known for, golf, she didn't even start playing until 1935. And in 1938, after being denied amateur status, she participated in a PGA Tour event, the Los Angeles Open. Although she missed the cut, no other woman would compete against men in that particular tournament for almost 60 years. She would go on to become one of the best golfers in the world and the leading female golfer of the 1940s and the first half of the 1950s. She ended up regaining her amateur status in 1942 after not participating in any other sports for 3 years. She participated in 3 more PGA Tour events, making the cut in 2 of the 3, the only woman to make the cut in a regular PGA Tour event. She's also the only female golfer to get into the men's events by a 36-hole qualifier as opposed to a sponsor's exemption. As an amateur, she ended up winning 17 straight women's amateur events, something no one else has been able to match. She would officially turn pro in 1947. She ended up with 48 professional victories, 41 of them on the LPGA Tour. She would end up winning 10 majors. She won the Western Open 4 times in 1940, 1944, 1945, and 1950. She won the Title Holders Championship 3 times in 1947, 1950, and 1952, and the U.S. Women's Open 3 times in 1948, 1950, and 1954. In 1950, she had her greatest year as a pro, where she won all 3 majors that year: the Western Open, the Title Holders Championship, and the U.S. Women's Open, completing the Grand Slam. She was also the fastest woman in history to 10 victories, 20 victories, and 30 victories. As far as I know, I believe the 30 victories, fastest to 30 victories has been broken. I do not remember who that was broken by. She was also a singer and harmonica player and recorded several songs while under the Mercury Records label. She also dabbled in acting, appearing in the 1952 movie Pat and Mike. She was also a very good seamstress, making many of her clothes, including her golf outfits. She claimed to have won the State Fair of Texas Sewing Championship in 1931, and she also won the South Texas State Fair Sewing Championship. That's been confirmed. She was inducted into the LPGA Hall of Fame, which is now known as the World Golf Hall of Fame, in 1951. She posthumously won the Bob Jones Award in 1957. In 1975, a TV film called Babe was released, starring Susan Clark as Babe Didrikson Zaharias, with NFL Hall of Famer Alex Karras playing her husband, George Zaharias. The 2 actors would later marry and star together in the 1980 sitcom Webster. She was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame in 1976. She was part of the inaugural class for the LPGA Hall of Fame in 1977. A USPS stamp commemorating her was issued in 1981. She has a museum dedicated to her in her hometown of Beaumont, Texas. She has several golf courses named after her, and she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2021. ESPN named her 10th on their list of top 50 athletes of the 20th century. She was the highest ranked woman. The Associated Press named her the 9th greatest athlete of the 20th century, male or female. The Associated Press also chose her as the Female Athlete of the Year 6 times, and in 1950 voted her as the greatest female athlete of the first half of the 20th century. In 1999, the Associated Press also named her the Woman Athlete of the 20th century. In 2000, Golf Digest ranked her as the 17th greatest golfer, male or female, and the 2nd greatest women's golfer, with only Mickey Wright ranking higher than her. So those are the notes that I have of Babe Didrikson Zaharias. I am super excited to have these cards in my collection. I didn't know about these. I really didn't. And I was kind of looking at some of these sets for some Jesse Owens cards. I was looking to pick those up. And I happened to stumble upon these. And I said, you know what? These need to be in my collection. So I kept an eye on them for several days. And as the auctions were coming close to an end, I threw a bid out. And I ended up winning these 2 first. And then these 3 6 days later. And I certainly overbid because I wanted to win them. But I'm super happy with the price that I was able to get them at. And like I said, I'm really happy to be able to add these to my collection. So hopefully you learned a little something about Babe Didrikson Zaharias from this video. And that's all I've got for you this time. Until next time, thanks for watching this video, and I'll talk to you again soon.